Welcome to We Don't Have Cookies with your host, Jason Marshall.
Hey everybody, thanks for downloading the show. I have a good one for you today. My guest has had his own game show on the Game Show Network, has stand-up comedy specials, been a political correspondent for CNN, NPR, ABC News, Huffington Post, and others, is the host of the Last Week on Earth podcast, but most importantly, he is running as a candidate for the President of the United States. It's Ben Gleib. How you doing?
I am doing so well, Cookies. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's nice to have you on the show.
It's nice to have you too. Should I call you Cook, Cookies?
I kind of like, I don't know. I kind of liked Cook when you said it, but then Cookies, it sounds kind of sweet.
Okay, I'm going to call you Cookies.
All right. Before we get into you running for president, I want to tell you how much I like your game show, Idiotest.
Idiotest.
Oh. I'm a big fan, Ben. Pretty sure my pronunciation was right, but it's playing now on Netflix. I highly recommend it. Basically what happens is there's two teams of two and they compete to see which team is the idiotest of the two.
Idiot is the most idiotic. The show's called Idiotest. We say the title about 3-4 times per episode.
Again, I'm a big fan. I think I know what the show's called and, what the show I'm watching is about, but
maybe you're just getting snacks during the 4 times an episode, sometimes 5 when I say the name of it, but that's understandable.
That's why I don't have cookies.
I understand that. You're always trying to find cookies.
One of your campaign platforms is to pass single item bills in Congress to eliminate people from adding secondary and usually unrelated things to them, which is known in the political world as pork. Do you want to eliminate pork from bills to end corruption or to eliminate pork because you're Jewish?
It's because I'm Jewish, mostly. Okay. I feel like I shouldn't be indulging pork in any way. And I already eat a lot of pork in my personal life, and that makes me a bad Jew. So the only way I can make up for it is by getting the corruption out of our government. And you do that by making sure people vote on just one bill at a time, one item at a time within those bills. All it does, this pork, these poison pills, is give people a perfect excuse, people in Congress, to not vote for the things they promise us to vote for. So as a good Jew who's supposed to be anti-pork and who loves the taste of bacon when it's soft and undercooked, I had to fight for that, and it's become one of the major planks of my platform.
And I got to tell you, I love that issue, and I really think that the country would be a lot better off if something like that were to take place.
No doubt, because the core of all of the crises we are facing, and there's a lot of them, we're facing a climate crisis, a gun violence crisis, healthcare, millions still don't have it, wages are stagnant, and there's a huger, and that's not even a proper use of a word, a much huger gap between the rich and the rest of us every year. And the reason we don't address any of it is because special interests control our politics. So if we get the money out, get the corruption out, make sure they vote on one item at a time in each bill, we'll be able to finally hold them to account. Another crisis, DMV lines are still very challenging.
That's very
weird
true.
People there. The reason we're not addressing any of it, traffic, I don't have a plan for beating traffic, actually. Well, doubling down, actually, investing more in our local public transit is one way to do that. But I was trying to think of one that is not as serious to balance the serious issues we face, and I can't. I do have a very good one. I will also absolutely ban the super long CVS receipts once I win the election. It doesn't need to be 7 pages long. No one's looking at it. You're wasting trees. So the reason we're not addressing all of that is the corruption in our government. And if we get it out, we pass an anti-corruption bill, we ban lobbyist money, and the anti-corruption bill does a lot of other things. But that's one that certainly makes us able to start tackling the real source of our problems.
Well, you were arrested recently at a protest. They say that jail changes people.
Rude to bring that up. It's rude to bring that up, but go ahead.
They say that jail changes people, usually in a bad way. Can the public still trust you?
They can still trust me. They just have to know that I'm a lot more hardcore now. It hasn't affected my trustworthiness, but they have to know that I'm very tough and I've been hardened by life on the inside, even though I really just had to pay a fine and was not in there very long. They have to know that I've seen things I can't unsee now. I saw an officer, no joke, coming in to, as I was paying my own bail, say full with arms full of fast food. I'm hoping for others in the station, not just for himself. By judging on his stature, it could have been just for himself, and it could have been just half the meal. And he literally smiled and said to me, "How did your civil disobedience go today?" So it's that kind of story that has changed my perspective forever, and that that I'm going to be a guy that you can't mess with now that I've lived that kind of dark side of the tracks.
Any jailhouse tattoos?
No, I did get an eye drop under my eye, a teardrop rather. An eye drop's not really a tattoo you get. I got a teardrop under my eye, and then they told me that that's only if you murder someone in jail, and I just thought it looked cool, so I immediately had that removed.
Oh, okay.
And you just see little remnants, you just see little marks under my eye, but it's going to be, Dr. Tatoff who gets the tats off.
Okay, because I was going to say,
tat off.
Now you kind of have to.
Why?
Well, you got the tattoo. You don't want to be a poser, but now you got it removed, so you're in the clear.
Exactly. I like to expunge my own facial record, which is also tied to the fact that we need to expunge all marijuana-related nonviolent offenses and release anybody who's in jail for drug offenses that are nonviolent, for weed-related offenses that are nonviolent. I recently became the first candidate ever to smoke marijuana publicly, and I did that to show the hypocrisy in our laws, to stand with those who are incarcerated unfairly, to show how this is a substance that helps people with chronic diseases, with pain, with PTSD. It reduces the symptoms of all of it, helps people with end-of-life care. And most of us these days enjoy some consumption of cannabis every once in a while. And it's just a crazy hypocritical thing that we say and do that differently. So, candidates who look uptight like Kirsten Gillibrand, who's now no longer in the race, might have been in favor of cannabis legalization on paper. But are they going to really fight for it in office when she looks like she hasn't ever not only touched marijuana, but couldn't pick it out in the lineup? I doubt it.
Very true.
I wanted to show that I am a man of the people who does not have a different public or private facing face. My face doesn't face anywhere but due east.
I actually saw that. That was on Getting Doug with High.
With Douglas Benson.
But I want to circle back because I still can't shake the feeling that it really doesn't seem like you learned your lesson from being incarcerated. What's to stop you from a crime spree of peaceful protests across the nation?
There's a lot of talk of that. A lot of people are saying, what if I go on a nonstop mass peace spreading mission and I just bring peace aggressively into the faces of people all across this great country? And, guilty as charged. That is a fair question. It's a real possibility. And I just hope people are prepared, get your arms ready to hug me with as I come by. You know what I mean? It's a chance you're going to have to take if you support my candidacy any further at Gleib2020.com. That's GLEIB 2020.com, where you can learn more about my policy positions, and you can donate to the campaign if you so desire. So we have the ability to keep competing against these multi-million-dollar political machines. A lot of the candidates I think, might actually be machines. They might be robotic people. They seem that way in the debates to me. It's hard to know.
Very true. But going back to your website, Gleib2020.com, how did you get such a big TV show like 2020 to sponsor you?
That's a good question. I used to date Barbara Walters, and that helped. Even though she hasn't been associated with the show in about 20 years, she still knows the original cameraman because the camera's on a tripod and he doesn't have to do anything. He just shows up and sits in a chair.
That'll do it.
And so I asked Barbara, I said, Babs, why is Babs a nickname for Barbara? And she didn't know. And then we got to talking about, can she get 2020 to sponsor my campaign? And I said, I have a great slogan, Gleib 2020, a clear vision for America. And she threatened me with a lawsuit. And so I just said, why don't we join forces?
Well, you've been all over the place campaigning. I'd love to know, what's the most you've paid for a gallon of milk and where? I
one time paid $30 for a gallon of milk.
Wow.
It was because I ate a very spicy pepper. I had a very spicy pepper.
Like a ghost pepper or habanero?
I mean, I don't even ask questions once my mouth's on fire. I just try to find milk as soon as possible, and I pay whatever people will sell me their milk for. And this guy was like, "Oh yeah, you got a hot pepper in your mouth, $30, bro." Shelled out $30, bought the milk, made the pepper sensation go away, and I learned two things that day: that milk shouldn't cost $30 a gallon, and that certain peppers you don't want to mess with. But I don't know the name of it, so I likely will mess with it again accidentally, and that really means there's no lesson to be learned there at all.
Are you a 2% guy, or are you one of these disgusting 1%ers?
I know that I'm not trying to anger Bernie Sanders as he's home recovering, but I am a 1% guy when it comes to milk. Even a non-fat guy, oftentimes, it does take away the taste and the nutritional benefits, and I don't know why I do it. It's basically just like drinking white water. Milk is white. You understand? I made a mistake, and don't hold me against me. That's hard to hold myself against myself because I am just one person. And so it's hard to be separated from your own body and then pressed against your own body. And everybody knows that. So I shouldn't have wasted your time saying it. But these days I'm really more of an almond milk guy. And then now I'm trying to become an oat milk guy because almonds are very bad for the environment because every single almond apparently takes 1 gallon of water to grow. And that's too much for one almond when we're petting back 20, 30, 70 almonds per sitting of almond eating. And so oats, easy to grow, cheaper, the milk tastes good. And so that's a very roundabout way of answering your question. I apologize.
Well, on the last episode, I asked my guest Mike Furman a gotcha question about his name. I have something similar for you, Ben. It may affect your candidacy, but
Great.
You've claimed that you've overcome a speech impediment, and many people are saying that you actually took speech therapy to get rid of a Russian accent, and that your real name is Ben Gleib, and your goal is to disrupt the election on behalf of Mother Russia. Is that true?
This is ridiculous what you're saying. Everything you're asking there is completely ridiculous.
Many people are saying it.
Well, many people say a lot of stuff, and let me just say that how dare they to me? How dare cast aspersions? How can they cast aspersions on me? Look, you're getting me nervous, and my speech problem's coming back up. Listen, I would like you to change topics because America's already great.
Are you willing to show your birth certificate?
Yeah. The only problem is I don't know where I would find that. I would show it if I knew where that was. Do people have their own birth certificates?
I don't know, but I think we should.
Do you have your birth certificate? Are you willing to show your own birth certificate?
I will show you mine if you show me yours.
Okay, I wish you didn't say that.
One of your campaigns.
Take that back. You want to take it back?
I actually stand by that.
Okay, well, that's offensive, but fine.
One of your campaign slogans is, and I'm reading this directly from your website, gleib2020.com, shut the door when you poo and close your mouth when you chew. Nobody wants to see what's inside of you. It's nice to see somebody wanting to bring back courtesy and decency to our country, but how did you come up with that?
I think America knows that it's not on my website, and I almost take more offense to this accusation than I do to the Russian accusation. And this one I demand you take back and tell the people it's not true, because I'm not a bathroom humor guy. I've never been a bathroom humor comedian, and I think anybody who knows me knows that.
Well, I do think it would be nice if people close their mouth when they chew.
But I think it's okay to have your mouth open when you're chewing if you're pretty certain the food is already tucked away far back there and you're not going to really see the food. Like, I sometimes talk in my mouth full, but you're not going to be seeing that food.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of go like this sometimes and talk through it while you got food in your mouth, but people aren't seeing the food. Like, it's already ready to be swallowed. And I think that's okay.
Speaking of the restroom, I was making in the bathroom.
Ignore that question. Way to ignore. Just don't even weigh in on that, huh?
That's right. The other day I was making in the bathroom, and I look over at my shower as I was reaching for the toilet paper, and it hit me. We have toilet paper to wipe our tushies, but we don't have shower paper to wipe our bodies. As president, would you work on that?
No.
Asked and answered.
Yeah, I'm very decisive, and I know when I see a problem that needs tackling, and this ain't one of them, because on account of the dynamics of paper and how it interacts with water, and I don't want a nation full of people walking around with shredded paper bits all over their body, being told that they are clean, and in fact, they just look stupid. That's not the America I want to live in, and I don't think it's America you want to live in.
I do like living in America. I love the country. This might be a bad time to ask, but I was wondering if maybe you would consider me as your running mate. I'd love to say that I'm a vice presidential candidate. You need somebody from Ohio to balance out that ticket. What do you say?
I'm driving through a tunnel. You're breaking up. I didn't catch that. New phone. Who this? New phone.
I believe in Ben Gleib. Why isn't that your slogan? I like that one.
I believe in Ben Gleib?
Yeah.
Well, if I were going that way, it would be more like change you can be Gleib in.
Ooh, I like that too.
Or I'm a Ben Gleiber.
You could have a Monkees cover band out there playing you in.
That's a great point, except I find that people don't take candidates seriously if their slogan is a pun. And so I abandoned it, but I like it. You know, my fans are known as the Ben Gleibers, also the Gleib Squad, the Gleib of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the Friends of Benefits, the Gleib Nation. So we got some names. It's not like we don't have names. The Gleib Mob, the Glob. We've got names, but as a campaign, we're a very serious operation. Our slogan is take our democracy back, because that's what we have to do, Cookies.
I 100% agree. And
all the forces trying to weaken and erode our voice in all seriousness. There's a lot of people that don't want this to be a government by and of the people, and not even for the people anymore. And it's because we keep electing career politicians and multimillionaires, and that doesn't reflect the life experience of any of us. I don't know about you, but I'm not a career politician or a multimillionaire. I don't know how you expect legislation that benefits those of us who are not that if we keep electing that. So if you elect those that are not that, but instead are those that are like us, and not that, but just the that we like and that we are, maybe finally we'll get a country that reflects the priorities that we need, us being the that is the that we should be legislating towards and registrating towards as well.
Well, that is very true, because when this country started out, it was supposed to be a representation of the people in the country. We had all kinds of varying degrees of people in the Congress, and somehow we've managed to trick ourselves into career politicians being the only ones to solve it.
Yeah, and then only multimillionaires. Like, again, all kidding aside, Cookies, we've been running this campaign here as a true grassroots campaign since May 13th for quite a long time now. And the media, the mainstream media, won't really have me on often, or hardly at all, for CNN or MSNBC or the late night shows. And they won't put me in the polls so I can even qualify for the debates. Yet Tom Steyer, the guy that started the impeach Trump campaign a year ago, billionaire, threw $100 million of his own money into his campaign, and instantly every show has him on. He's going to be in the next debate. And you shouldn't be able to just buy a spot in our democracy. So if you believe in that ending, then you have to put your money and your support and your voice and your tweets where your mouth is, and support a true grassroots campaign run by a real person. And that's Ben Gleib for president. I mean, who more so is a relatable working man? I'm the only working man in the race, other than somebody who truly has a job where you're, a true worker. I believe the road traveling comedian is as close to that as we can come from the current field, not some executive CEO paying myself thousands of times what my workers get. I'm traveling the country every weekend, trying to make people laugh, shaking hands after the show, hoping I sell a few CDs afterwards so I can make it a little easier to pay my bills, figuring out how it is that I'm going to be able to pay for medical procedures that come up that you don't see coming, navigate the complex healthcare system. These are all problems I've dealt with in recent years that a lot of our politicians don't really know the reality of, and that's why they don't change it with urgency.
I want to talk to you a little bit about your personal life for a second. You almost married Natalie Portman. How did the two of you meet?
Again, not true. Not that I'm eager to bat that story down, because that would be wonderful. She's a wonderful human being. and as close to as good as they come. Not as good as my current girlfriend, but she's a close second, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But she's awesome. She did my telethon for America back in November, where we helped create the historic voter turnout that our nation had in the midterms. But that's as close as she and I came to getting engaged, was her appearing on a telethon of mine. So, yeah, different, similar.
Okay. We've been joking around a lot here, but I have a serious question for you. Well, maybe not.
I've been taking this very, very seriously.
There are two schools of thought out there that have clashed over a century. Relativity and quantum mechanics. Relativity is the thought that events are continuous with determined outcomes, while quantum mechanics is the thought that events produce interactions, have probabilistic rather than definite outcomes. Which one of those do you align with? How long have you aligned with them, and why?
I've been a quantum mechanics guy for a long time. I believe in quantum theory. I believe that we can influence our outcomes, our reality. We can adjust things even in the moment by willing them into being, oftentimes I believe very much in the power of positive thinking and envisioning your future. What the bleep do we know is a fascinating movie that dives into these concepts if you want to watch it. But I believe we can manifest our reality. I've been doing it my whole life. And so that's where I land on that side of the spectrum. Einstein be damned. I like Einstein a lot.
Well, Ben, I want to thank you for being on the show today. Is there anything that you want to promote before you go?
Sure. Since this is a podcast without cookies, I can mention some of my comedy dates as well. I am coming up to a bunch of cities. So I'll be in Springfield, Missouri at the Blue Room Comedy Club, October 11th and 12th, Chicago, Illinois at Zanies, the 23rd through 26th, Vancouver, Canada, the 8th through 9th at Yuck Yucks, Wilmington, North Carolina at Dead Crow Comedy Club, November 15th through 16th, St. Louis, Missouri at the Funny Bone, November 21st through 24th, and then Dubuque, Iowa will be campaigning as well as doing shows in Iowa at the Diamond Joe Casino and Penguins on December 11th, 13th, and 14th. Get tickets to all of it at bengleib.com. But after you buy them tickets, get yourself over to gleib2020.com. Learn more about my platform and my campaign. Please support us. Give us $1 or $5 or $20 if you can afford it, so we can keep fighting these robotic candidates that are not going to change things for you or care about you on account of them being robots. Robots don't feel human emotion. Humans do. I'm a human boy. I've been so almost since birth. And so I just encourage you to do all that and follow me at Ben Gleib, BenGleib, on the Instagram, on the Twitter, on the Facebook, and on the YouTube at youtube.com/BGleib. And there's the Big Gleib you wanted earlier, Cookies.
There it is. Well, real quick before you go, what are you wearing?
I'm not taking any questions.
Oh, I knew I should have asked that in the beginning.
Yeah, I don't ever answer questions on podcasts. It's a hard and fast rule of mine.
All right.
What are you wearing?
It was great talking to you, Ben. Thanks for being on.
What are you wearing, though? Oh, now you're voting that question, too?
I'll tell you. I have a gray sweatshirt, and I'm wearing jeans with black socks.
Okay, well, I have black socks on. I'll answer it now. Right. I have black pants on. I have a blue shirt on. Because red, white, and blue. Because America.
Nice. Very sexy, Ben. Thanks again for being on the show.
I'm going through a tunnel again.
All right.
Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, das Vidania, comrade.
You're breaking up. Whose phone is this? New phone.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm running for mayor. Born into money, I'm a millionaire. But I care about the poor. I really do care. Won't you vote for me? Hey, little guy, I'm just like you. Actually, I'm nothing like you. But I rely on people like you to think I'm just like you. That guy is a local politician. Lowering your taxes is his mission. He may not be the brightest, but he sure is the rightest. Oh! That guy, the local politician. I like to party, I'm a ton of fun. I party more than anyone. Down at City Hall, I'll get things done. If I come into work, what they say isn't true about me. It's a left-wing media conspiracy. My middle name is allegedly, 'cause nothing sticks to me. That guy is a local politician. None of those claims have resulted in conviction. Gangs and booze and hookers and crack. He's a walking heart attack. Oh, that guy, the local politician. Fiscally irresponsible. It's what the taxpayers want. Morally reprehensible. It's what the taxpayers want. It's what the taxpayers want. It's what the taxpayers want. That guy is a local politician. His SUV has a high level of emission. He'll kiss your baby while he grabs your butt, covered in powder from his donut. Oh, that guy, the local politician. That guy, the local politician. Who? This guy, the local politician. Can we just cut this ribbon and get out of here? I got places to be.
This is Anthony Scaramucci, former White House Director of Communications, and also a podcaster with Mrs. Mooch on Mooch and the Misses. You are listening to We Don't Have Cookies.
Want to contact the show? Send an email to jason@wedon'thavecookies.com or call 929-266-9342 and leave a voicemail.
I want to thank Ben for being on the show. He was just on Larry King's TV show last week, so the next logical step was We Don't Have Cookies to keep that momentum alive. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to it. I had a good time talking to him, but I'm not too sure if he did or not. One thing I wish I would have asked him now that he's been to jail, and he's very vocal about how much he hates President Trump. Should the Secret Service be worried if he is the Democrat nominee that he might shank Trump on the debate stage? He said he got a teardrop tattoo under his eye, which is a tattoo people get once they've committed murder. Maybe he's going to shank him to death. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe he got it prematurely. And I still want to see his birth certificate. You may have heard this at the end of the interview, but he said goodbye in Russian before I did. I was just going to do it to be funny, but I think he did it purely out of instinct. So maybe it's true. Many people are saying it. Maybe he really is a Russian disruptor. If you have a video of Ben talking in Russian or maybe know where to find his birth certificate, let me know. Email me, jason@wedon'thavecookies.com or call 929-266-WDHC. That's 929-266-9342 and leave a voicemail. The contact info for the show is in the show notes as well. I'll keep it anonymous. Our country may be at stake here. I want to trust him, but things seem a little off. But here's one guy we all know we can trust. It's the podcast's official weatherman, Frankie McDonald.
We don't have cookies. Be prepared.
Frankie, what is the weather going to be like starting Monday, October 7th?
It's going to be really warm in New York City. Then they got a cold front hitting through New York City and surrounding areas all across Eastern United States, including Boston and all these places. And it's been very warm in Boston as well. It's going to be warm in New England, United States, and all the way down to Mid-Atlantic. It's going to be a heat wave in southern states.
Any weather people should be aware of internationally?
That means that there's a possible typhoon heading for Japan or a storm. And then there's been lots of rain going on in England lately, on and off showers over in England.
And what can people do to be prepared for the weather?
Make sure your roof raincoat, train suits ready.
Do you have any comedy videos coming out soon?
On my comedy videos, I did it. A guy acted like a cow.
That's awesome. And where can people find that?
On my YouTube channel, Dogs and Wolves, a.k.a. Frankie McDonald.
Is there anything else you'd like to promote before you go?
Frankie Sell Action Figures on FrankieActionFigure.com. And my book is on Amazon.
All right, Frankie. Well, it was great talking to you. I hope to have you back next week.
Talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Nothing new to report on the treepocalypse, but I've talked to a couple of neighbors who told me they've noticed how much I've been working on the yard and how much better it looks. This week I started cleaning out my barn and I found some interesting stuff. I found a Coleman brand camp oven from 1970 that was still in the box and has never been used. It looks really nice. A Kodak Instamatic M2 camcorder from the 1960s. I thought it was just a regular camera until I took it out of the box. It's pretty small. You can hold it using just one hand. I don't know much about that kind of stuff, but I was surprised that they had something that small back then. And I also found a 2-liter of Mountain Dew Code Black and a 20-ounce bottle of Mountain Dew Live Wire from 2003. And neither have been opened, and both were labeled as special editions. I'm pretty sure nobody out there is collecting 25-year-old unopened plastic soda bottles, but if you know somebody, let me know. I'll sell it to them before the trash man picks them up. I'll post some pictures on the We Don't Have Cookies Instagram this week of those things, so make sure you follow me there. That's gotta be pretty damn enticing, right? I'll have links in the show notes to that too. And now it is time for this week's Strange Days. If you're listening to this on the day it comes out, Monday, October 7th, is Frappe Day. That's a great way to start the week, and the second coffee holiday in 2 weeks, because last Tuesday was International Coffee Day. And speaking of Tuesday, Wednesday will be Curious Events Day. I have no idea what that's about, but I'm very curious to find out. Thursday is Handbag Day. That is very exciting. Friday is It's My Party Day, so throw a party and make sure to remind all the guests that it's yours throughout the night. And if you do that, please record it and send me clips. And finally, Saturday is International Skeptics Day, I think. You may want to double check. That doesn't sound right to me. One thing that does sound right to me is talking to you guys again next Monday. Have a great week.
Thanks for listening. Tell your friends about the show and leave a review. See you next time.
Everything you're asking there is completely ridiculous.